Hey, what's up, Nerf fam? Actually, I should probably say Dart Zone fam. Um, so today we're looking at the Dart Zone Max Outlaw. So I did an open box review, or just a quick open box video, not really a review. And there are a lot of stuff that I feel like you don't notice right away. You open a new blaster. I don't do a lot of edits. It was just an initial unboxing and my reaction. But I wanted to do more of a detailed breakdown of this blaster. And I guess you can call this kind of like a, a no mod overview, because I mean, as we look deeper into this, you're going to see that it's a blaster that doesn't really need any mods, at least to me, performance wise. Anything that you might try to add performance wise might mess with what it already is, which is a really functional blaster. But let's get into it. One of the first things that I realized that's really cool about this loading port here, it sounds simple, but I find that this thing is like the ultimate scavenge weapon. I mean, that when you put it, it rotates, so it rotates on prime. You load the dart up, that's the next dart that's gonna fire, because it's gonna rotate into place on prime, and then immediately you are ready to fire. I mean, to me, that's sweet. At least if you're right-handed, Sorry, left-handers, we don't have anything on the other side. So to me, for a scavenge weapon, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, to be honest, another thing that I notice is because of this mechanism here that seals everything. You see that that you can remove this cylinder at any point as long as you're not in the action of pulling the trigger. So literally, I can prime it. You could have a cylinder in it even, You can be like, oh, you notice this cylinder's out and it's primed, and you can pop this one out. I don't have a loaded one here, I'll stick one in. Just remember, this is not a scavenge situation. It's already primed, so it's not going to index because it's going to direct fire. So you're going to want to make sure that that dart is in fire position and you're ready to fire. It's so crazy. It can be primed, and because of this mechanism, you can take the cylinder in and out at whim as long as you're not in active firing. I think that's a really neat option, depending on the scenario you're in. So those are the things that I noticed that were pretty neat, I think, that I didn't notice in the unboxing video, just because I hadn't had any time during unboxing video. That was literally just the day, heck, the first 10 minutes I got it, opened it up, started shooting a video. But anyways, I think a lot of us wanted to see internals, and we'll see why I call it kind of a blaster that doesn't really need mods. To me, I think it's just great out of the box. I like modding myself, but sometimes some things don't really have an upside, so it's kind of why bother. Just appreciate the engineering for what it is. But yeah, so let's get into that. So we're gonna put this fully assembled blaster to the side, and just magically I have it disassembled. So I was wondering, you do have to take this apart here. So I believe, yeah, that's holding together the gray half of the shell. This part comes up with the gray half, the red part, I believe, all together. All right, so there is the blaster disassembled here. One of the things I notice that might be something that could be improved upon right away is, you see the right here where the hammer is gonna start pushing here on the plunger head. There's quite a bit of gap, so I'm not gonna press it now, because honestly you can't really operate it while it's open because it needs a full channel, because otherwise it's going to go that way on me when I try to press it down. But you can see that there is a little bit of room here, so maybe the draw, I'm not sure because I'd have to look at the opposite shell. I didn't see anything that would block on the opposite shell, but maybe there could be something here that attaches around here, at least just on this half, because you couldn't really put it on this half because then now you're messing with a catch mechanism. But on this part, maybe there's something that could be placed there, or a complete reprint of the plunger completely that would allow it to have a shorter draw than what we're doing now, because it looks like there's quite a bit of room from when you actually start to draw. I don't know if that'll mess up the angles of how this is engineered, but you know, worth a shot. Any designers out there that want to take a shot? The other thing that I noticed is a lot of people have been talking about barrel replacement. To be honest, when I first got this, I was thinking barrel replacement immediately. But as you see, when you pull the trigger, the barrel actuates to seal everything up into this rubber piece here, to where it breaches into the cylinder and everything. This whole actuation basically seals up with the cylinder, and it goes right into pushing on this lever to release the catch to fire. So I mean, this whole thing is engineered nicely, but to do a barrel replacement, we can see that this whole thing here is beveled, because in the cylinder itself, let me get a cylinder out. There's some angling you can see in there, right in there, where that's where the beveling meets from this back of the end of the barrel that kind of is a ram into the cylinder. That kind of fits at an angle that's the same one that's inside of the cylinder. So first of all, you probably would want that bevel there. Will it work without it? I mean, maybe. I mean, you've got almost half an inch of possible plastic to metal barrel seal areas besides that angle there. But I bet you that probably helps with it overall. Then the other obstacle, if you haven't opened your blaster yet, you probably would not notice, because I did not. But if you can see in here, this plastic, the way it's holding the barrel's actually got a channel in it. So it's actually indented in, and this is actually within the indention here. Kind of like an indention you would see, or a channel you would see for like an O-ring channel, but instead it's wide to fit this plastic piece. I can't really see it on this end, but I can definitely see where it's in the barrel, basically, this plastic piece. It's not on top, it's actually in it by just whatever, you know, half a millimeter or whatever the distance is, enough for it to catch and to reliably pull the barrel back, which I'm glad that it is designed that way, because if not, if it was some kind of clamping system or something that was tightened, it may fail on you. But that's pretty finite, you know, it's attached. There's a definite catch line for it to push it back. Of course, there are a little return spring here. I mean, really not much to cover. If you've seen some hammer shot internals, you know, there's differences and similarities with this, and like how some of the rival pistols catch here. That's pretty similar to some of the rival pistols. But yeah, so I mean, oh, I almost forgot. I did want to talk about dart fit as well through the barrel. So let me grab the assembled one again. So the dart fit, I don't know if everybody knows, but you know, Dart Zone, the barrels are usually pretty loose even for their own darts. Their own darts, actually, the foam isn't as fat as some of the workers or the other aftermarket darts that you get, but this has got to be a different barrel than what we're used to from Dart Zone, because a lot of times you put a dart in and it just, you see, I got to actually push it. Usually the dart just slips through on a Dart Zone barrel. And you can see that's snug in there. I mean, that's loaded up and it's Seems like a pretty good seal. I love that also you can test the seal on this. Why am I doing that? Like it's a cylinder release. Oh, by the way, that's my biggest gripe on this blaster is the lack of a cylinder release. Screw the safety, make it a cylinder release button right here that I can push and make it pop out. Anyways, I like that you can test the seal without the cylinder in. At least this part. You're not going to know unless you plug up here how this part of the seal goes. But at least back here, I know that, I mean, that seal is perfect. I mean, it'll hold just probably as long as I'm holding it. I mean, we'll look at the lube situation. I mean, I can see, I don't know if you can get it on camera. I can see lube dripping on it right now. So I'm not going to relube it. I'm not going to mess with the seal. I'm not going to rebarrel it because, I mean, besides this obstacle, maybe you could do something that has a straight edge and semi-bevel it and it won't be a big deal. Maybe you can fasten it here. But really, how much plunger tube do you have to work with that you're going to maximize any more barreling? And, you know, to me, when I was thinking barrel replacement, I was thinking I need a tighter barrel because Dart Zone is infamous for having loose barrels. But you, I mean, I just showed you guys, it's a tight barrel fit. I mean, I'm not saying that this blaster is unmoddable, but it's, for what it is, I mean, it'd be the most pointless thing to mod, I think, that I've ever purchased. I mean, it works straight out the box as is. Again, the only thing I can think of is possible change of draw distance here. But I don't know if that'll mess everything up, but that might actually shorten the draw distance and help everybody out who's having a hard time with, you know, it is a long draw for a hammer prime blaster, but it's also one that performs, dare I say, flawlessly. I mean, the only time I have seen errors when it's a user error and people, when you prime, actually let's get that on camera before we, I mean the video is about done, but there's one thing that I did want to hit on when people say something about it skipping. It's not a skip, it's a user error. So if you prime that much, the barrel spins, but it's not caught. It's not caught, so it didn't skip. You had a failure to catch. So failure to catch, not because of the system, but because you weren't strong enough to push it all the way down, because it is kind of hard and a long draw. But as you can see, once again, it actuates there, but the full catch is that much more, right? I don't want to dry fire, I've already dry fire them, but yeah, that's the issue. It's just, this is a very heavy system to be pulling with your thumb one-handed. So, and I get that, but again, every person is different. Some people are able to adjust their hand and maybe get used to it, or just exercise and get used to it. As you can see, I have two. I plan to use them akimbo. I don't seem to have much issue with it, right or left hand. But I do wish that the draw wasn't as long, or just sat, or the trigger or the hammer sat a little differently in orientation. I don't know. But those are small gripes. My major gripe, I want to say, is the cylinder release once again. Let's put a cylinder release on the next blaster, guys. This one though, this one you guys really hit it out of the park. I mean, look at this thing. All I do all day, like, I don't even need an extra cylinder. I haven't even opened another cylinder. I think I have one sitting on the garage desk somewhere. But, I mean, you can just walk around and scavenge all day. It's just ready. As soon as you pop one in, you know, as fast as loading a Jolt. But, you know, and if you wanted to load a bunch of them, I mean, let's overview that. You just got to remember to which direction to rotate in so you're ready to go in successive shots. Rotate down so that this is the next shot. Rotate down, and now you got 3 in a row. I mean, how easy is that? I'm not gonna shoot myself in the hand a third time. It's starting Starting to sting little guys. But anyways, yeah, that's my overview. The internals. One more shot at the internals if anybody needs to see. Oh, I keep thinking of one last thing before I go. When you do reassemble this blaster, if you are going to take it apart, even though I kind of am letting you know that it's pointless to take it apart, unless you just want to look at it. This piece right here, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like it's like a rotation stop mechanism. Yeah, this likes to droop. I need to sit more straight for it to meet well on the opposite side of the shell. So maybe have a small screwdriver handy. You can kind of like jimmy it in place on reassembly. So I'll give you an example. So I'm kind of got this lined up here. I think this gets a little sticky here too, the end of this round, this red one. So maybe I'll start here on this side. Okay. And then I can kind of see in here at an angle where this thing is drooping. I just kind of push it with my screwdriver a little bit. Or is it getting hung up on something else? Maybe I should stop. Okay, so it's easier to start with the top rail, I guess. Just gotta make sure that thing's not in the way. It's gonna go. Something's still sticking. Guess it's good we find a struggle on camera. See what it is. I don't know what it is. I know how the issue was that piece that I was pointing out. Oh, it wasn't like it was that piece. It was just kind of not in its stop position. It was kind of riding too far up, I think. Okay, I think just this red piece is. And something not matching up top now. Well, let me see. Maybe this hammer thing just wasn't sitting at the right angle. I swear I'm not trying to deter you guys from opening this by having so much trouble closing it. I'm just actually having trouble closing. I just closed it a second ago. Okay. Ah, there we go. Something was definitely hanging with the metal trigger though, I think. Hammer, I mean. But that's my overview. And the unmoddability or the just things I don't know if you're gonna find much to mod on this. I went over some things on usability that I didn't notice on the unboxing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.